is the same, he doesn't care. I think a lot of them are going to just say that.
It's up to Marcouche. As you wish, I agree. So again, AJ asking if the numbers can be written up again. They're making Brian work for his money tonight.
Brian touched really quickly.
One more time with the numbers. Stand by. And I'm going to issue that key Brian caveat, which is 200,000 has to stay in the middle. The bracelet has to stay in the middle. They have to play for that. So, Seeking, the same. 1,065,000. Liberace.
Don't forget the 432.
Of course not. A little bit less. 1.375 now. Just a little under 1.4, because he'd be giving an extra 30,000 to AJ, bringing his prize money to 782,542. Shoes Are Dirty, just over 801,000. And Marcouche, 962,000, more or less. Okay, AJ's agreed to that. Liberace has agreed to that.
Okay.
Shoes Are Dirty agrees. 3 down, 2 to go. Seeking agrees.
Just Marcouche now.
Marcouche agrees. We have a deal.
We have a deal. Congratulations, Liberace and Seeking, Marcouche, Shoes Are Dirty, and AJ Cahuja. Very well played. You've just locked up a ton of money. May the best man or woman, if there's any women playing out there, for an extra $200,000 and the bracelet.
Absolutely. And particular congratulations to Liberace and Seeking, who've both become dollar millionaires as a result of this tournament.
I think Seeking had it in his mind. When he saw he was just over the million, he was like, yeah, whatever. But, yeah, I think, AJ Cahuja was bringing up some good points. He is, right up there, been in this situation a lot and got a good deal. But let's see how this plays out. Good game, congrats.
Yeah, Brian congratulating them on coming to that agreement, making the money that they know they're now guaranteed. But, of course, one of these 5 will get that extra 200 grand and the WCOOP bracelet, because this tournament will be played to its conclusion. And Tom in Worcester has asked the question which has dogged us throughout this series. Do winners of WCOOP events actually receive a real bracelet, or is it a metaphor? It is real, Tom. It's a genuine piece of jewellery which gets dispatched the day after the tournament has taken place.
Real bit of bling.
It's right a real bit of bling. So, action's back underway. That deal will change play at all. Liberace's going to keep up the pressure. He's going to continue to play that big stack aggressively.
Yeah, let's see how it does affect things. I mean, traditionally when I've seen, 10 left, final table bubble, people go and give an extra bit for 10th. People then just kind of relax and chill out. But let's see. I mean, they're still playing, I don't think we're just going to see people throwing their chips in willy-nilly.
Absolutely not. I mean, it's a very prestigious thing to win a WCOOP title, to win the main event of the WCOOP. It's a huge achievement. Very shortly, Greg Raymer is going to be joining us. Greg, of course, a prolific member of Team PokerStars Pro, the man who took down the main event of the 2004 World Series. He's got a WCOOP bracelet of his own, and if you've got a question for Greg, pokerstars.tv@gmail.com. is the address to use. The fossil man himself will be on the phone. Oh, it's AJ getting aggressive now. 384,000 near enough, the raise. Called by Liberace in the big blind.
Brian's reminding everyone to play well. Fair play to these guys. This tournament's been going on just over now 29 hours. 2-day event. I wonder if any of these poker geniuses are going to share their insight and post their hand history on any of the forums for people to look through. It'd be interesting to see. I think people have played really, really well from what I've seen.
Well, of course,
general,
we will get to see that highlights program here at PokerStars.tv, some of the highlights of this final table with the cards up. So we'll get that insight, whether they want to reveal it or not.
That's really, really cool. Yeah, I think that's all of these kind of things that stars are doing, turning up the whole cards, are really good to kind of share the knowledge. I mean, poker got really popular when they started actually showing the whole cards in live tournaments and when they televised it. I mean, otherwise it's actually not that interesting to watch if you don't know what everyone's doing. But having whole card cameras really, really important.
Although, again, the conversation we were having the other night, and it was that other great debate that's running at the moment about cards down or cards up, because what we've seen with the rise of webcasts like this, and of course the EPT Live series we do, is actually watching the action live, but not being able to see the players' cards. And some people have actually said that they prefer that, and some people say it gives you a different perspective on the game, that you get a different insight into how the psychological aspect of the game works. But as we said, we'd never have been able to get to that stage if it wasn't for whole card cameras, that we needed to go through that phase of being able to see all the information in order to appreciate the game at a later stage with half information or with no information.
Absolutely. I mean, I heard, I don't know whether it's true or not, but Eric Seidel didn't like whole card cameras when they first came out because he was doing something, you know, quote unquote, in his mind different at the time to a lot of other players that contributed to his success and didn't want to share that with everyone. And, you know, if he spent the time working through lots of different situations and doing slightly quirky things at the time, you know, back in the late 80s, early 90s that no one else was doing, and he didn't kind of want to give that away for free. But, you know, in today's age, the game's really different. And with the internet now, people are posting hands, sharing hands, there's online training sites. I mean, the market is a lot more efficient in sharing information, which is great. I mean, it means that, you know, everyone has an opportunity to get better, quicker. It's not so esoteric and it's just held within the few. And, you know, now with all of this information available, the game's evolving to a much higher level, much more quickly. And I think the internet has really been the driving force, you know, so people have seen it on TV, and now they log on and, you know, open a Stars account or whatever, and then they play. And I think it's been really, really good for poker. In a way, you know, it's probably harmed some people who are making a nice steady living 15 years ago, and now they've got all of these young geniuses coming along that have put in 1 million hands in a year, and they're like, they play really well. And people always say to me, you know, the difference between online and live. I mean, many hands and many situations are uniform between live and online, and yeah, you can pick up certain other things live that you can't do online, but, you know, if you play your hands well, if you think about the game well, if you have the right thought process, then, you know, you will be a good poker player. Right, basically an all-in pot here. Raise on the button from AJK Huzier. Deuces versus sevens. 7 on the flop.
Well, it's over. AJ has doubled up. Shoes are dirty, down to 1.17 million. And a request from Brian, which we're always happy to fulfil. Please give a little bit of love to the guy in our Australian support office, Stephen B, who's been pushing the buttons to start and stop the tournament and confirm the deal numbers.
That's maybe because I gave Brian so much credit going, wow, look at Brian, he can type really quickly. Cut and praise Brian, I'll call him from now on. But thank you very much, Stephen B, from the Australian support office. It must be nearly midday there. Nice sunny day in Australia.
Yeah, it's alright for some, isn't it?
It's alright for some. It's the official... Was it the first day of autumn today in London? Or fall, as the Americans would call it?
I believe, yes. Of course, meteorologically, it began at the beginning of September, but in terms of the calendar seasons, yes.
Yeah, because I logged onto Google and it had an autumnal leaf, and I was thinking, alright, there we go. So now it's going to get colder and blacker, and never mind.
Yeah, I was talking to a friend who says he has this psychological thing where he can't turn the heating on until the 1st of October. But there have been some days this month where he's felt the urge to break that rule because it has been getting very chilly.
Yeah, it hasn't been a great summer over in London. I see Seeking is just rubbing down AJK Huzier in the chat go, oh no, you shouldn't have chopped. All in and a call, 3s versus queens.
So again, shoes are dirty. Behind.
Got 4 extra outs. No good. And shoes are dirty. Very well played, sir. Congratulations. Looks like the deal came along at the right time for him and finishes 5th
Yeah, and Brian will confirm how much he's receiving as part of the deal that was reached in just a moment. Sea King USC having won that pot, now up to 14 million in chips.